By the way, is Carrazana with an A at the end, Carrazana, no Carrazano. But that's a nice addition to the different last names I've been called, so I like it. Earth, a century ahead. How is it going to be? A dystopian future battered by climate change, pandemics, armed conflict? Or the utopian green future we secretly wish for? Dear attendees, I know it's tempting to lose hope, but as an Arctic Monkeys song says, not on my watch, I will stay with you, my love, the way some science fiction does. So please, join me in agricultural revolution. That sounded nice. And version 5, actually, there are already 4. Let's just keep iterating without changing the course. Sure, at some point it will work. Let's revolt. But how? If I challenge my imagination to forecast this scenario, this is what I say. Environmental resilience and resource efficacy, an inclusive society, food security and income generation, a sustainable urban design. I see humans functionally intertwined with nature around what has always brought us together, food. And if we reverse engineer it with this time-bending prediction technology, also known as TPT, what do we get? Urban and peri-urban agriculture, UPA. Agriculture made in urban and peri-urban areas, within and around cities. The Food and Agriculture Organization from the United Nations identified 4 types. We have home-based gardening. That's a picture of my windowsill. I hope you also can relate to that. If you do, congratulations and welcome to the community of UPA practitioners. But I also want to give another example. 60-year-old lady living in the periphery of the city, several species, some edible, some not, proud of an UPA that has helped her in moments of economic scarcity. Maybe you know a community-based garden. This one, as you can see, it's found in the middle of the city. There are buildings around and houses. More interactions, more exchange of knowledge, friendships develop naturally. We also have an institutional type. Universities, school, botanical gardens, often characterized by a more technical approach. And of course, commercial food production. So with this in mind, now I'm going to share with you my secret master plan for agricultural revolution. Step 1, show the power of UPA to the world. I hope you're somehow familiar with the Sustainable Development Goals. 17 goals to transform our world, and isn't that what we want? Please, I want you to think of a number between 1 and 17. How many goals are covered by urban and peri-urban agriculture? Is it 1? Is it 17? Is it 35? According to the United Nations, UPA is critical for the operationalization of linkages between 8 SDGs. Tapia, in one of the latest academic reviews, directly associated UPA contributing to 12 SDGs. We overlap these two at the Nexus resource approach, and we raise it to 14 out of 17 SDGs. Without a doubt, UPA is a powerful tool for sustainable development. And maybe I'm overthinking the title, but we might need to reevaluate agriculture. Either way, step 2, give UPA an institutional home. Because we're not dictators, we love democracy, and that's why we need AFD, always full democracy. What? Oh, you thought I was the police? I need to work on my acronyms. But, seriously, where does urban and peri-urban agriculture institutionally belong? Agriculture? Urban development? Climate action too? No, but it's the environment. And what happens when no one really knows who's supposed to do something? No one does it. But if UPA is given a home, maybe not a ministerium, but a home in our institutions. Step 3, assess, monitor, improve, and increase. What's the value that UPA offers to those who practice it? Maybe it's all about revaluing agriculture in our society. And that is my research. Let me explain. In a smaller scale, step 1 occurred in 2004 in Colombia. The Botanical Garden of Bogotá saw the potential of UPA and started a small project to teach cultivation techniques. A decade later, through civil steering, the City Council of Bogotá officially institutionalized UPA under the jurisdiction of the Botanical Garden, with the mandate to scale UPA up. My job is to assess. How? Well, definitions precede measurements. Measurement produce indicators, and indicators inform action. And I'm here to produce indicators. Actually, the title of my thesis is Constructing a Composite Indicator to Assess the Contribution of UPA to Urban Sustainability, a case study. One of the latest conceptualizations of UPA around urban sustainability comes from Tapia, who proposed that UPA contributes to urban sustainability through 4 pillars, encapsulating environmental, social, economic, and institutional aspects. The full framework includes dimensions within pillars, but let's not get distracted by the details. Once we have a proper framework to base our indicators, we need measurements. Last year, the Botanical Garden of Bogotá measured the phenomena of UPA in 79 variables. More than 3,000 UPA practitioners were surveyed about motives, demographic characteristics, cultivation practices. I use a statistical tool called PCA, Principal Component Analysis, to reduce the number of variables without losing representation over the phenomena. The model dissolved those 43 variables into 16 principal components. Then those were matched with one specific dimension, and voila, the first UPA assessment of Bogotá is created. You can see in the environmental aspects a good contribution in terms of soil conservation and water management. Moving on to the inclusive society, we have high contributions to social capital and community engagement and participation. Food security in the economic pillar was a surprise, which made me wonder how sovereign are we of the food we depend on? And because revolution might not be radical enough, maybe we need to think about evolution. Step 4, back to step 3, make it personal. Start assessing your UPA, and why not by counting how many plants you have? Because I get the feeling that what we really need is some cultural evolution. Thank you for your time, attention, and interest in science. And now, if you have any questions, I would be happy to address them. I don't know if I can answer them, but they will get addressed. In the meantime, I can strongly recommend you to see the connections and the interactions that your UPA and your gardens have done. I have a little rosemary plant, not so little now, that has helped me to put together focaccias that I've given for present in birthdays. And that's only thanks to urban agriculture.
Yeah, thank you. I was wondering, what do you think, how is your data and the indicators you got out of your research comparable or transferable to maybe Middle European bigger cities with the same kind of...
There are some difference in terms of Global South and Global North on what the focus is placed. In the Global North tends to be more, the focus placed on ornamental, aesthetics, less on food security, but that it's a big concern point in the global south. And it's surprising how much it really helps to get some food sovereignty. Here, this framework actually is based in Tapia, who made this study, I think it was in Norway or Denmark. I'm a bit lost. But yeah, this framework totally applies to also the European case, let's say, in cities.
Okay, great. Looks very convincing. So. Looks convincing.
Thank you. That was the point.
What do you think, which crops can be grown in big cities? Let me think of New York also, that could help to secure the food supply.
In terms of crops, I wouldn't know what to say. So from the beginning, I don't know which crops. But I think that the motive of this, it's not for one specific crop, because sometimes there were stability in the prices given just by the fact that people were raising some products at home. So the dependence and the control, it was not a monopoly from, let's say, supermarkets. So I don't know about any specific crop, but for sure, any crop, anything, would help to secure food.
Rosemary, for example.
Rosemary, for example. You never know where it's going to take you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why would you say that the pillar of sustainable urban design, I mean, can you go one slide further?
Yes.
Exactly. The pillar of sustainable urban design is basically untouched by UPA.
Exactly.
Why would you say that is? So if I think about 2 and 3, can you go back maybe where it's described? No, yeah. Relief of urban density, I would think that UPA plays a big part or can help a lot to reduce this. So I would wonder why it isn't, why we don't see it.
We had a methodological problem because we're using a database that was not collected for the purpose of this thesis. So we have a lot of information, and then we're just creatively thinking, what can we do from this? And since the survey was measuring a lot of stuff not related to any of these dimensions, but a lot of information, we figure out why not using the principal component analysis, something that it could reduce the number of variables without losing representation. This model, last thing, represents 68% of the variance of the initial model that contained 43 variables. But then when we were matching it, we realized that there were not many questions about institutional aspects. Therefore, the principal components that were created by the PCA did not express much of it. But as you can see, they had a lot of questions on social, economic, and environmental aspects, and we can see them there by more dimensions being represented by the model.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much.